Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Matt Lateplo, and on behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you have joined us for our next live presentation from Jackpot Digital Inc., an electronic table games manufacturer. Please note you can submit questions in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Matthew McDonald, VP of Corporate Development of Jackpot Digital Inc., which trades on the OTCQB venture market under the symbol JPOTF and on the TSXV under the symbol JJ. Welcome, Matthew.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate everyone joining us today to learn more about Jackpot Digital. We are a positive disruptor in the bricks and mortar casino space, casino industry around the world. And really, we are the beneficiary of what we see as a macro trend across the bricks and mortar casino industry towards automation, particularly in card games. If you were to walk into a casino, say 10 years or even 5 years ago in Las Vegas or anywhere in the world, you probably wouldn't have seen what's called an ETG, or an electronic table game. You may have seen one or two tucked away in the corner maybe 5 years ago. But if you were to go to Las Vegas today, or again, any casino around the world today, you're going to see that in many cases, obviously slot machines are already automated or electronic, but what you're going to see has happened is that electronic table games for card games, such as blackjack or baccarat, are being offered and are taking up much more space on the real estate of casino floor. So there is a macro trend towards automation in casinos. And we are a company that is a manufacturer that makes a very unique niche product. Now, when I say niche, it's still a global product. But as far as we know, nobody else is making a product like this in the casino space. And I think before I speak any further about the opportunity and what we see as a really exciting opportunity going forward, especially now, which you'll see throughout the presentation, I'd like to allow Janelle to play a very quick video, because we say seeing is believing with Jackpot Blitz. So Janelle, without further ado, can you please play that video?
Go for it.
Thank you very much, Janelle. I appreciate that. What you just looked at was called Jackpot Blitz, and I'm going to speak about that right now. Jackpot, what we do is we manufacture a very unique product, which you just looked at. It's a touch screen. It's basically a 75-inch touch screen television screen. You can bend the cards right on the screen. You can see play with the chips. There's multiple games on the machine, such as blackjack, baccarat, video poker that players can play. But it's primarily a poker product. And you saw in the introduction, I manage corporate development for the company. I spend a lot of time speaking with casino managers across North America and around the world. And what I find time and again when we go to shows like the Global Gaming Expo, which we'll be at next month, what we see is that we solve a real problem for casino managers, especially since the pandemic. What we found is casinos have either shuttered their poker rooms completely or they've closed them down temporarily. And they've had quite a difficult time actually restocking or restaffing those poker rooms. So they're actually, what casino managers are trying to do is control costs and really just offer the game of poker uh, in a much easier, much less headaches as far as running their poker room. Enter Jackpot Blitz, and that's what you saw in the video. Jackpot Blitz really solves that problem. And I'll tell you an anecdote. When we were at our last Global Gaming Expo last October in Las Vegas, this is the largest gaming show in the United States and North America. I was literally having casino managers pull my shirt away, for basically pulling us all in different directions, telling us, how quickly can you get us these tables onto our floor? Again, it solves a real problem. Poker rooms have been closed across the country. And I'll tell you another example. We do a lot of live demonstrations for Jackpot Blitz on Zoom. And I was endeavoring to talk about Jackpot Blitz with one of our customers. And he interrupted me and said, Matt, just stop for a minute, Matt. Tell me, let me just tell you, do you know why I'm talking to you today? And I said, why? Tell me. And he said, I'm talking to you today because I want to shut my poker players up. And he said that sort of facetiously or jokingly, but what he meant was, we pulled poker. We don't have the dealers. We don't have the staff to restaff and offer poker again, but the poker players continue to complain. So the casinos need to offer this game, and we allow them to do it in a much less headache, much less cost way. So again, that sort of segues to our next slide, which is the benefits for the operator. Honestly, I don't think we need to speak too much about the benefits for the operator because they're obvious. Jackpot Blitz deals way more hands per hour than a typical live dealer would in a poker room. So we can get 50, 55, upwards of 55 hands per hour on a Jackpot Blitz table for a casino, which compares to a live dealer, which deals about 28 hands per hour. So obviously the benefit for the operator is higher revenue with more hands per hour. Obviously, because there's really don't have to staff their poker room anymore, it offers the lower costs, and they can run automated tournaments and basically have the entire poker room automated without having barely to staff it at all. These operator benefits we think are pretty obvious. What to me is really special is the player benefits. And we actually just had this table displayed at the World Series of Poker in Las Vegas this past summer. And I got to see firsthand as Jackpot Blitz was introduced to the poker world, there was over 200,000 real poker players who went past that table and in most cases stopped and played on Jackpot Blitz. It was right beside the big WSOP sign right at the entry to the World Series of Poker. So most of those players who came to the World Series of Poker sat down and played Jackpot Blitz. And I saw firsthand, they absolutely love it. One of the reasons is they just get more action at the table. Players come to casinos for action. They want to play, they want to place a bet. And believe it or not, there's a lot of downtime in a poker hand. So when players are playing poker, a lot of times they fold their hand, things like that. What Jackpot Blitz does, and what you saw in the video, is it allows players to play blackjack or baccarat or video poker or place side bets like bet the flop right at the table while they're engaged in a hand of poker or after they fold their hand. So it's just more engaging. There's more stimulating for the player. They absolutely love it. There's more action. There's more hands per hour. It's intuitive. It's easy to learn. And it's just error-free gameplay. Players absolutely love it. So there's benefits on both sides. The operator, those are obvious. But the players absolutely love playing Jackpot Blitz. As far as the opportunity that we have in front of us at Jackpot Digital, obviously, I think it goes without saying the casino business is a global business. Poker is played in basically every corner of the globe. And in fact, Jackpot Blitz, our company has already had orders for Jackpot Blitz from 4 different continents around the world. And we expect to obviously be in all the continents around the world based on what we're seeing with demand at trade shows and the incoming inquiries that we get from around the world. Up to now, our business has largely been on cruise ships. The product has been proven to be a great success for generating cash flow for our company for many, many years on cruise ships. And now we're endeavoring to expand into the land-based side of the business, which is obviously a much larger market. And we'll get into that in just a moment. But I want to speak a little bit about, as I say, Jackpot Blitz has been proven on board several blue chip names in the cruise ship space, including Virgin Voyages, Carnival Cruises, Princess Cruises, Costa, Holland America. I'll speak more about the opportunity at Royal Caribbean in a little bit. We have signed a deal with a company called Penn Entertainment, which many of you are probably familiar. It's the largest regional casino operator in the United States. Penn has 43 properties in 20 different states. And we've started to gain orders from that master agreement that we have with Penn Entertainment. But I think that's about to accelerate, and you'll see why when we talk about how our table is just about to be approved by the appropriate certification. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But we do have a blue chip clientele, and you can see here our business model is very simple. I mean, this is actually a very simple business model. Once installed, our Jackpot Blitz tables generate recurring revenue. We either share revenue with the casino or we lease the table to them on a fixed rate basis. The lion's share of our business is pretty straightforward. We will oftentimes install the tables at no charge for the casino to establish a footprint of Jackpot in that casino, of Jackpot Blitz in that casino. And then we just simply share revenue. That's been a very successful business model for us, as I say, on board cruise ships with Carnival and the various cruise ships for many, many years. And now we're starting to see the early signs of the same success on land-based casinos. In fact, the demand for the product is so great that we're seeing right now because we solve a problem for these casinos. We allow them to bring back poker. The demand is so great that we're now even getting to see some pricing power and being able to charge an implementation fee at the beginning of the contract. So we were in many cases happy to install the machine at no charge and start collecting a revenue share on a perpetual basis with the casinos. But now casinos are showing a willingness, because they want the product so much, that we're able to enact some pricing power and in many cases charge an implementation fee at the beginning. But it's a pretty simple business model. Think of it like really like the vending machine business, or maybe even the private ATM business. Once the machine is installed there, it just continues to generate revenue. As far as growth drivers that we see coming for the business, it's been a period where we've been collecting a lot of back orders. There is a lot of demand for the product, and if you look through our news flow, we've been very active in signing new deals and new business with casinos across North America, really in the tribal business, along with Penn Entertainment. So, obviously we've been collecting those back orders, but really the growth driver going forward will be what's about to occur as installations into land-based casinos. I'm going to speak a little bit more about that in a moment, but cruise ship clients, we've been dominant on cruise ships for many, many years. You saw Carnival, you saw Princess, Holland America, and so forth. We've been very dominant there, but there is still a lot of room for growth in the cruise ship side of this business. Prior to the pandemic, we signed an agreement with Royal Caribbean to start running Jackpot Blitz on board their vessels. That was paused, but now we're back up and basically testing inside their laboratory as we speak. So we're quite confident once we're completed the testing phase with Royal Caribbean. Certainly the potential is there for us to install across the entire fleet with Royal Caribbean, which would be obviously a huge bump in our cruise ship, on the cruise ship side of our business. You can see launch of new games there. I think it's really important to state that the Jackpot Blitz is really, it's not just a poker table. It's not just a blackjack table or a baccarat table. I would think of this more as a smart table. And when I say that, what I mean is once that table is installed and occupies real estate on the casino floor, we can very easily remotely upload new content onto that game, onto that table, to keep the product fresh. And that's really music to the ears of casino managers. So not only do we solve a poker problem for casino managers, but as we endeavor to add new content and new games, you can see in the bullet point there, specialized popular regional games, we've had many inquiries from groups in places like India and the Southeast Asia that would like us to build this product, build new content, new regional type games similar to blackjack variants and things like that for the Jackpot Blitz as well. It's very easy to add new content to the game. So the blue sky for growth goes well beyond the global poker and blackjack and baccarat markets. I'm going to now, I want to really focus on this particular slide because we believe as a company that we're kind of at an inflection point to the positive. In the past year, we've had, as I've mentioned, we've had a tremendous amount of inquiry, a tremendous amount of orders, tremendous amount of demand for Jackpot Blitz. But in the early days, about 12 months ago, what we saw was that our clients or our end customers asked us, they said, listen, how fast can you get me these tables? This is fantastic. I want to put it on our casino floor. And the next question that would come would be, do you have ticket in, ticket out for the machine? And we did not at that time because the product was largely a cruise ship business. So to explain what ticket in, ticket out is, essentially, if you look at that picture there, it says bill acceptor and ticket printer. This allows customers to simply approach the table and put cash directly into the table. That was not possible on the previous version of Jackpot Blitz because it was a cruise ship product primarily. So we're very excited right now because we've collected a lot of new orders for the business. We're about to start installing this next generation version of Jackpot Blitz into casinos, literally starting, we think, by next month or at least the latter part of 2023. And that's because of what's called GLI certification. Now, that gets a little bit technical, but essentially, you can't just put a casino machine onto a casino floor after you build it. You have to get it certified and tested to make sure it's a fair game and that it's not cheating or it's not doing anything untoward or electric shocking people. All that kind of stuff needs to be tested and certified. It's a lengthy process, and we are just now on the cusp of completing that GLI certification for this next generation Jackpot Blitz. And that brings me to our recent new business. So we're on the cusp of completing GLI, going to begin installing into land-based casinos en masse for the first time as a company. So we're really now sort of, if you will, opening the floodgates to installing these machines and starting to generate cash flow for the company. You can see our Penn Entertainment deal, several tribal casinos, several corporate casinos, and all of these tables we're endeavoring to begin installing in the latter half of 2023. So it's a really exciting time for us, and this is the business. This is where we're at as a company now. We've been waiting for the GLI certification of the next generation Jackpot Blitz. The demand is there, and now we're going to start installing Jackpot Blitz very shortly. So again, we are a very simple business. We solve a problem for casino managers, and our highlights as a company, really, we're the only ones in terms of leadership. We're the global leader in electronic table game poker, basically dealerless poker. Nobody else that we're aware of is making a product like this, and we're really the only ones. We've kind of got this runway to ourselves for the foreseeable future. We obviously already have quite a blue chip client list, and we're in conversations, by the way, with you never know how it goes, but we're in conversations with many large organizations, both in North America and overseas as well, including some government organizations that are interested in going with Jackpot Blitz across the board. So we'll see how those go, but we obviously appeal to large, reputable companies, and that continues to grow. As far as resurgence and expansion, really, we're just now, as you've seen in our recent financials, starting to come back to the level of revenue that we were at prior to the pandemic pause. Obviously, cruise ship the cruise ship business paused during the pandemic, and we're now very close to pre-pandemic levels as far as our legacy cruise ship revenue. But really coming forward, the expansion that we see in the land base, you can see the order flow that we've already announced. Those are really the early adopters, if you will. That's a nice suite of new business, but those are really the early adopters. As I say, we're now in conversations with much larger organizations who are interested in installing Jackpot Blitz across their casino network. And we're a recurring revenue business, so we just continue to build it brick by brick. Every single announcement, every new table that we announce, or half dozen new tables that we announce, or whatever it is, just continues to add to our monthly recurring revenue. And as I say, we're about to start installing the next generation Jackpot Blitz in the latter half of 2023. Super excited about that. So that is essentially the opportunity that is Jackpot Digital. What I'm going to do now is open this up for some Q&A so that we can answer some questions from some of our, and if you just bear with me, I'm just going to read some of these questions. Okay, so one of the questions I have here says, are there any competitors out there with similar products, have any patents on Jackpot Blitz? We do have some IP. You saw in the video how cool it is when the cards bend. So you place your hand on the screen and the cards bend up. We've got some IP surrounding some aspects of Jackpot Blitz, but the reality is our real competitive advantage is that nobody else is building a primarily poker product right now. So we solve, it's really interesting. Anybody who's ever been in sales before, I mean, it's not an easy game with sales. I can tell you, I've been on the front lines. I've spoken with casino managers. Actually, the first time I called up a couple of casino managers just to, test the market and see how they felt about it. It was probably a handful. And I sent them the video that we had right at the top of this presentation. And literally, I had several calls back within 24 hours. Easiest sale I've ever done because nobody else is really doing what we're doing on the poker side of things. And so we can sort of use the poker problem that we solve to have the machine installed at the casino. And then we can obviously grow and branch out from there and start offering more games like we have blackjack and baccarat and video poker. We can obviously, there's the potential to add, miniature slot games on the table while you're playing poker. You can do all this while you're engaged in a hand of poker. So the short answer to your question is there's nobody out there with something exactly like Jackpot Blitz. There are obviously other electronic table games like, ETGs out there in the market, but they tend to focus more on other types of games. We've really got this poker runway to ourselves for the foreseeable future, and that's why we're so excited about the opportunity. Like I say, as soon as I show it to a casino manager, they just, more often than not, they just say, okay, when can we install these? Okay, next question. I see a question about expanding into international markets outside of North America. Obviously, based in Vancouver, BC, it's a natural fit for us to expand into our own backyard in North America first. Obviously, we speak the language, it's locally close to time zones. All those things are advantages to us, and it's been a real smooth run as far as obtaining orders and growing the pipeline for Jackpot Blitz in North America. But let me tell you, we get inquiries, unsolicited inquiries from major household name type major casinos in the Asian market as well as in the European market. And we are in discussions with several groups overseas. Incidentally, next year, I believe it's in June of next year, we'll be presenting for the very first time at the Global Gaming Expo G2E, which is the Asian version of the large North American show in Singapore at the Marina Bay Sands. And everything that I know about this business, and I spent a lot of time speaking with a lot of people in this business, is that in that particular market segment in Southeast Asia, the adoption of electronic table games is even more advanced than it is in North America. There's a real demand and a like for the electronic element of gaming in the bricks and mortar casinos. In many cases, they have huge stadium-sized type ETG and arrangements there. So the population there is very familiar with playing on electronic tables. And one of the anecdotes I heard at a recent conference was in Macau, for example, players actually want the electronic product, even for the high stakes games, rather than a live dealer. And you can see why, because Jackpot Blitz or any ETG deals error free. So if you've got a lot of money riding on a particular hand, you want to make sure that that hand is dealt properly. So yes, there is a huge amount of demand for, as I say, we've already got orders in 4 continents. And I think we're just scratching the surface of where we can be. As I say, we solve a real problem in poker, and poker's played everywhere in the world. So huge amount of, we're starting in North America, but we'll be overseas next year. Okay, next question. I had somebody ask how many tables are on a ship usually. We usually have, we've got a couple of ships that do have more than one table, but we usually have one table per ship. And, as I say, those tables have a tremendous amount of success in delivering consistent recurring revenue for us. And now we're going to repeat that. We're endeavoring to repeat that success, and we're confident we will repeat that success on the land-based market. Another question here, can Jackpot Blitz play casino games other than poker? Well, I kind of touched on that already. But yeah, so that's one of the things that I saw at the World Series of Poker. Players sitting down. In fact, I would go off for a break, and I'd come back and look at the table, and there would be 6 or 8 people sitting at the Jackpot Blitz table. All of them, in many cases, playing blackjack or baccarat personally at the table. So that's why players come to a casino. They want action. So sit down, get into a hand of poker. Say you fold your hand, no problem. Just touch the screen, and up pops a little blackjack game, and people love that. It's just more. It's more action for the players. It's more fun for the players, and it's more revenue for the casino. There's another question here. What do you expect for the second half of 2023? Well, quite simply, we have been waiting for GLI certification. It took a little bit longer than we would have liked to see, but we've been informed by GLI that we can expect to start seeing report writing as possibly as early as the end of this month. And that means that that's basically the ticket that we need to really start expanding into land-based casinos, start installing all of these back orders that we have, put these casinos on the floor, start generating cash. That to us is why I think that we're at a real inflection point as a company. And that's why I'm so excited about the second half of 2023. There's another question. Does Jackpot Blitz have progressive jackpots on the machine? Yes, Jackpot Blitz has what's called a progressive bad beat jackpot. And actually, interestingly, we're in some conversations with some groups about potentially having a bad beat jackpot that could be, for example, jurisdiction-wide across an entire state or an entire country or an entire province, which would almost create a lottery type level of excitement for players and incentive for players to come play on Jackpot Blitz. Has Jackpot Digital considered becoming a casino operator? That's it's a very good question, and the answer is yes, we have. We have actually explored, and we're on an exploratory basis looking at certain jurisdictions that we feel are close to legalizing poker. And we've looked at the idea of obviously, it would be a very simple, seamless transition for us to have the space and be able to run our own machines as an operator and take a much larger share of the revenue that Jackpot Blitz generates. So yes, certainly that's something we've explored. I can't say any more than that at this time, but if we do have updates, I'll share with you. That looks like all the time I have to speak about Jackpot Digital. I want to thank everybody again for taking the time to learn more about our what I think is very simple but very exciting opportunity. And thank you very much.